Richie walked through the university campus the way a man walks through a world built for him. Broad-shouldered, handsome, charming, and painfully aware of it. His reputation traveled ahead of him like perfume, intoxicating from afar, suffocating up close. He was the boy who could make girls laugh with a single raised brow, then make them cry before the semester ended. Controlling, careless, proud. The kind of boy mothers warned their daughters about, and the kind of boy daughters secretly believed they could change. Maya Bandari did not believe in changing men. She believed in boundaries, consent, justice, and telling the truth even when her voice shook. Revered in the feminist society, admired in the creative writing department, Maya walked with quiet purpose, books pressed to her chest, headphones in, a colorful scarf wrapped around her braids. She had grown up in a home where women were heard, respected, and encouraged to stand tall. She had no patience for Richies. And yet, fate has a habit of ignoring personality clashes, where their paths collided. It started in the cramped hallway of the campus media building during auditions for a new youth drama series. The air smelled of hairspray, warm lights, and the nervous sweat of hopefuls. Posters of past shows lined the walls, bright, glossy reminders of dreams achieved and abandoned. Richie was there for one reason: attention. The spotlight was the only thing he treated with consistency. Maya was there for a different reason altogether. Her lecturer encouraged her to audition, insisting she belonged in front of the camera. When they both reached for the same script on a table, their hands brushed. Richie smirked. Maya rolled her eyes. "Take it," she said, voice flat. "No, after you," he said, pretending to be a gentleman while scanning her from head to toe. But when they were paired unexpectedly for a chemistry read, something shifted. Not attraction, not interest, rather an uncomfortable awareness, like two magnets forced together but refusing to align. Inside the audition room, Maya's authenticity clashed with Richie's charisma. She grounded the scene, he animated it. The director raised an eyebrow. The cameraman leaned closer. A silent possibility hung in the air. Then it was lunch and the unlikely beginning. After the audition, Richie caught up with Maya outside. The campus cafe buzzed with lunchtime chatter, sizzling grills, and the earthy smell of roasted coffee. "Lunch?" he asked, leaning against a pillar, trying to look effortless. Maya hesitated. Richie's reputation flashed through her mind like a warning light. But curiosity, sharp, quiet, and unexpected, nudged her forward. "Fine," she said, "but you're paying." Inside the cafe, sunlight filtered through dusty windows. Students tapped on laptops, couples stole kisses, plates clattered. Richie talked about acting, his future, his image. Maya listened, unimpressed but intrigued by the vulnerability he kept revealing by accident. He asked about her writing, about her activism, about why she never fawned over him like everyone else. "Because I don't like people who pretend," she said simply. Richie swallowed hard, an unfamiliar feeling circling his chest. Accountability? Discomfort? Maybe both. Their lunch ended with a surprising truth. For the first time, Richie felt seen, not adored, not chased, not used. Seen. And Maya, to her quiet horror, felt a flicker of something she couldn't yet name. When the past meets the present. The romance unfolded quickly, awkwardly, beautifully, and then violently collided with reality. Richie's ex-girlfriends began appearing around campus, not by coincidence, more like ghosts returning to the scene of the crime. Some stared, some scoffed, some nodded at Maya with pity. Whispers followed her. "He'll break her. He broke all of us. She should run." Maya listened. Maya believed women, and Maya refused to be another cautionary tale in the archives and library of Richie's girlfriends, just like the James Bond women. When she sat down with the ex-girlfriends, Lana, Sophia, Zuri, their stories spilled out like bruises turned into words. Manipulation disguised as romance. Gaslighting wrapped in compliments. Apologies that arrived only after he'd already moved on. The more Maya heard, the more the fire inside her grew. This wasn't about revenge. It was about justice, about accountability, about rewriting the script. So she proposed something that stunned them all. We're going to teach Richie how it feels to be on the other side of his own behavior. Not to destroy him, but to force him to confront himself. Then came the payback time. Their plan unfolded like scenes from a psychological drama, slow, meticulous, emotionally surgical. Maya stopped entertaining his flattery. She stopped accepting his excuses. She stopped shrinking her standards to fit his comfort. She mirrored his patterns back to him, not with cruelty, but with clarity. When Richie would disappear for hours and reappear with excuses, Maya responded, "That lack of communication is disrespectful, and I don't date boys who disrespect me." When he tried to charm her out of difficult conversations, she redirected, "No, you don't get to charm your way past accountability." When he expected obedience, she offered boundaries instead. Richie's world began to slip. His usual confidence cracked. On campus, rumors of Maya's alliance with his exes spread. The golden boy's image, once spotless, began to tarnish at the edges. For the first time in his life, Richie felt powerless. For the first time, he understood fear, the fear of losing someone who wasn't scared of him, impressed by him, or dependent on him. Maya forced him to confront himself. Do you know how many hearts you've mishandled because you never learned how to respect love? His silence was answer enough. What happens when chaos meets growth? The emotional chaos that followed forced Richie into the one place he had spent years avoiding: introspection. He replayed his patterns like a montage in reverse: the girlfriends he dismissed, the apologies he never meant, the control he passed off as passion, the entitlement he mistook for confidence. Maya hadn't come to destroy him. She had become a mirror, a reckoning, a catalyst. And slowly, painfully, Richie began to change. He learned to listen, to apologize without qualifiers, to sit with discomfort, to rebuild the relationships he had fractured, not to win them back, but to take responsibility. Maya didn't stay with him out of hope. She stayed long enough to witness the shift. And then she stepped away, on her own terms. Months later, during the premiere of the student drama series, they crossed paths again in the warm glow of the theater lobby. Richie looked older, not in age, but in humility. Maya looked radiant, grounded in her power. "Thank you," he said quietly. "For what?" "For showing me who I was, and who I don't want to be anymore." Maya smiled gently. "Growth is your responsibility now, not mine." And as the lights dimmed and the auditorium filled with applause, Richie realized something he had never considered. Maya hadn't been an interruption in his story. She had been the wake-up call, an amber alert, a warning before the damage became irreversible, and perhaps the beginning of a better man.